afternoon, Bay Nation. Welcome to another episode of Fantasy Bay. I'm your host, Mike Williams, and here's my co-host, Geoffrey.
Good afternoon, Bay Nation.
In this episode, we'll be going over the AFC West. For those of you who do not know, that is the Chiefs, Raiders, Chargers, and Broncos. And we'll be going over all the offseason moves, the ads, the drops, anything that can be affecting your fantasy league moving forward. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell down below. And without further ado, let's get it started.
I'm on it, sir. Here we go.
Up next, the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's get it started. All right, Geoffrey, what's up first?
Coaches.
Yeah, there's no major coaching changes that we need to worry about, so keep it moving.
Quarterbacks.
Also hasn't changed. Patrick Mahomes is an absolute beast. Everybody knows that. Best quarterback in football. On to the next one.
Wide receivers.
Tyreek Hill was dealing with some tendonitis in his knee, but he seems to be good now, so moving forward, I think you draft him accordingly. He's one of the best wide receivers in the league. Absolutely incredible. Mecole Hardman's still there, but Sammy Watkins is gone. And they brought back in Brian Pringle. I don't think that's going to move the needle. You're definitely not drafting him. Keep it moving.
Running backs.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire is still the man on campus, but Damian Williams is now back, and I do think that he will have the backup role. CEH is still the man in town, though. At running back, they also brought in Jerick McKinnon, but I don't think he's going to have very much value this year, other than to eat away at Clyde Edwards-Helaire's work. But I still think Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to be fine. On to the next one.
Tight ends.
Next, we have the tight end position, and everybody knows Travis Kelce is an absolute beast. He is one of the best tight ends of all time, and he is being drafted as such. Speaking of the draft, let's talk about the fantasy values of all the players on this team. Starting at the top, Patrick Mahomes, absolute beast. He's incredible. He's going to throw a bunch of touchdowns and prove that he is incredible. But his draft price is in the second round. I don't like to draft quarterbacks in the second round. If you had to pick one, obviously it's Patrick Mahomes because he's going to throw a bunch of touchdowns, but I still don't think that you're getting the value out of the quarterback position. Next, we have the wide receiver position. Tyreek Hill is at value. I think that you can draft him at the end of the first round, early second round. Absolutely incredible. Running backs, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going in the early to mid third round. I like that positioning for him. Sometimes I see him sneaking up into the second round. I do think that he is going to have a great year. Last year he was a rookie being drafted in the first round, and he underperformed considering where you drafted him. But this year you're getting him in the late second, early third. I think that the value is there. I think that he's going to have a great year. Definitely grab CEH, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Next, we're moving on to the tight end position. Travis Kelce is an absolute beast, one of the best tight ends of all time, and he's being drafted as such. He is going in the first round. I've seen him going anywhere in the first round from 5th to 12th. He's barely getting in the second round, and if you see him in the second round, you gotta grab him. He's a complete difference maker for your roster. And if it makes you feel uncomfortable to grab a tight end that early, I completely understand. But if you change your mindset, and if you think about him more as a wide receiver that you're grabbing so early than a tight end, it'll make you feel a little bit better. All right, I think that's going to be it for the Chiefs. On to the next one.
I'm on it, sir. Here we go.
Hey Geoffrey, what's going on with the stadium, man? It's not built. I mean, I know it's built because they've been playing there. What's going on?
My satellites have not rotated to that part of the country recently. I apologize for the inconvenience.
That's unfortunate, but we're going to make it work. Let me know when you get that updated.
Yes, sir.
Up next, we have the Las Vegas Raiders. All right, Geoffrey, what's up first?
Coaches.
No major changes at the coaching position. Keep it moving.
Quarterbacks.
Derek Carr's a solid quarterback in real life, but you're not going to be drafting him in one quarterback leagues. Next, moving on.
Wide receivers.
Henry Ruggs is going to be on the top of that list. I definitely think you can get him as a late round flyer. He's got the speed, and I definitely think they're going to be trying to utilize him more this year. Tyrell Williams is gone, and in comes John Brown and Willie Snead. John Brown on a 1-year, $3 million deal. Willie Snead on a 1-year, $1 million deal. I definitely don't think that they're going to be taking over. I think that this is going to be a Darren Waller, Henry Ruggs type situation. Keep it moving.
Running backs.
Josh Jacobs is the starting running back for the Raiders, but the team brought in Kenyon Drake on a 2-year, $11 million deal. Follow the money. I definitely believe that Kenyon Drake is going to be utilized more than people are giving him credit for, and he's going fairly late in drafts. Also, storylines you should know. Josh Jacobs had a DUI, and he's currently dealing with that. I'm not quite sure how that's going to be affected in the legal matter, nor how the NFL is going to be taking it. So that's a situation I'll be monitoring. On to the next one.
Tight ends.
Darren Waller is an absolute beast, but he has sat out the last 2 weeks of practice. From what I hear, the team is just being very cautious with their star tight end. I think that he's still a solid pick in drafts going in the 3rd round. I definitely like his value there. And if it makes you feel uncomfortable to draft a tight end that high, just think of him as a wide receiver because he is probably going to be the number 1 option on this team. All right, let's get into that fantasy value. Derek Carr is not going to be drafted in 1 quarterback league, so moving forward. Wide receiver position, I think Henry Ruggs is worth a late round flyer. You can get him around the 11th round. Next, the running back position. I'm not a big fan of Josh Jacobs. I don't tend to look at the schedule very often, but I do think that Josh Jacobs is going to get off to a slow start. That's a terrible starting schedule. Josh Jacobs is going around 40th overall. That's the late 3rd, early 4th. I'm not a big fan of where he's going. I think that Kenyon Drake is being undervalued, and you want to grab him a few rounds later. I think that might be the better option. Next, we have the tight end position. Darren Waller is worth it where he's going. Absolutely grab him if he's in your 3rd round. Or late 2nd if you're feeling aggressive. All right, I think that's going to do it for this team. On to the next one.
I'm on it, sir. Here we go.
Up next, we have the Chargers. Hey, Geoffrey.
Yes, sir.
What's going on with this stadium, man? Not only is this one not complete, but it's the same one as the Rams. Like, what's going on with that?
My satellites have not rotated to that part of the country recently. Also, the Rams and Chargers both play at SoFi Stadium.
Oh, yeah, I forgot they played in the same stadium. That does make sense. All right, well, let's just keep it moving. Let's get to the breakdown. All right, Geoffrey, what's up first?
Coaches.
Head coach. Anthony Lynn is out, and in comes Brian Staley. He was previously the defensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams. And they also brought in Joe Lombardi as the offensive coordinator. I definitely think that this was a nice turnaround for them. They had been losing a lot of close games, and I do think that this is going to help their team move in a different direction. Sometimes you just need a new voice. Keep it moving.
Quarterbacks.
Justin Herbert has an outrageously amazing rookie year, and he looks to build upon that this year. I think he's a solid pick in drafts. Going towards the middle rounds, I like him as a late-end top 10, but not as a middle-tier top 10. I still have Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and a few others above him. I have him towards the end of the top 10. On to the next one.
Wide receivers.
Keenan Allen is an absolute beast, and he will be drafted as such. I think he's going to have a good year this year. Another year with Justin Herbert is only going to help. And Mike Williams, no, not me. I don't play football. Clearly, if you saw my first video. But Mike Williams from the Chargers is an absolute beast of an athlete. If he can stay on the field, I really like him this year as a late round flyer. Keep it moving.
Running backs.
The only one I even want to worry about is Austin Eckler. If Austin Eckler can stay healthy, he is going to be one of the best running backs in the league. Currently going at the end of the 1st round to the early 2nd round. I think that's a great value. Love him and his upside. On to the next one.
Tight ends.
Next, we have the tight end position. Out goes Hunter Henry. In comes Jared Cook. And I think that Jared Cook should have a solid year this year if he can stay healthy. He's a good tight end, nice big body guy with good hands. And I think that he is a viable add if you are going late round tight end and nobody else is there. All right, time to talk about the fantasy side of this. Justin Herbert is a great quarterback going in the 7th round. I think that's fair value for him, but I would prefer if he was going a round or 2 later because I'm trying to take Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady before him, and I've noticed he's been going before them. Next, we have the wide receiver position. Keenan Allen is an absolute grab at the 3rd round. He's an elite wide receiver. And Mike Williams is going late in drafts. I definitely think that he is a good grab with upside. Next, we have the running back position, and Austin Eckler is one of my favorite grabs this year. Absolutely pick this man up. He's going in the early 2nd round. I definitely think he's worth his value. Next, we have the tight end position. Jared Cook is going almost undrafted in most leagues. So if you're desperate and all the other tight ends are gone, Jared Cook's still there. All right, I think that's going to do it for the breakdown of the Chargers. Geoffrey, on to the next one.
I'm on it, sir. Here we go.
Up next, we have the Denver Broncos. All right, Geoffrey, what's up first?
Coaches.
No major changes at the coaching position. Keep it moving.
Quarterbacks.
The Broncos brought in Teddy Bridgewater on a 1-year, $11 million deal. Teddy Bridgewater won the quarterback competition between him and Drew Lock. I actually think this is very good for the offense because Teddy Bridgewater is a much more accurate quarterback than Drew Lock. And I think this is going to help Courtland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy. I still don't think that I'm going to be picking him up in fantasy, but I am happy it's going to increase the offensive production that the Broncos will be able to put out this year. That's good. On to the next one.
Wide receivers.
Courtland Sutton is coming off of a torn ACL, and reports out of camp are he's not giving it 100% go yet. He's still holding back a little bit, and I think that that's probably because he's coming off of an injury. I think that he's an extremely talented wide receiver, and I look forward to him being back on the field. Next, we have Jerry Jeudy, a very talented wide receiver that dealt with some drops last year. And drops are a thing that I think can be fixed. A lot of great wide receivers have dealt with drops in their career, and I definitely think that he can come out of that. Right now, he's going fairly late in drafts, towards the 10th round in a 10-team league. I definitely think that he is worth an add. He has some potential. Now that Teddy Bridgewater is the quarterback, I definitely think Jerry Jeudy is a more viable add late. He's going to get more accurate passes, and that was one of the biggest downfalls he dealt with last year, and I definitely think that can help him moving forward. Keep it moving.
Running backs.
Melvin Gordon is still the starting running back for this team, I believe, but the Broncos did draft Javonte Williams in the 2nd round, and not only did they draft him, they traded up to get him. So, I definitely think that he's going to be utilized. He's currently going ahead of Melvin Gordon in drafts. I'll get into their fantasy value later, but I do think that Javonte Williams is a talented running back, and this team wants to run. On to the next one.
Tight ends.
I like Noah Fant as a player. I think that he's very good, but I don't like the quarterback play, and I don't think that he's going to get enough targets to make himself viable, nor do I think that they're going to be in the red zone enough that he gets enough touchdowns. So I'm not a big fan of Noah Fant this year. I do like the talent. Once they get a better quarterback in there, I think that he'll be a lot better. But as of right now, I'm not a big fan. So let's go over the fantasy value for this team. In regards to fantasy, I don't see Teddy Bridgewater as a viable fantasy ad. I just don't think he's going to crack the top 12. He's not a big thrower and he doesn't run very much. So I'm a big pass on Teddy Bridgewater. Going on the wide receivers, I think Courtland Sutton is an extremely talented wide receiver. I think that the talent can win out, but don't know if they're going to be able to have Courtland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy both be fantasy relevant on a week-to-week basis, so I think there's going to be a lot of volatility there. Courtland Sutton is going around the 8th round in a 10-team league, and Jerry Jeudy is going around the 9th round. If I had to pick, I'm probably picking Jerry Jeudy just because he's a later value. Next, we have the running back position, and Melvin Gordon was dealing with a DUI situation, but it seems like that has been settled. So unless anything comes down from the NFL, I think that he should be clear to play this year. In regards to fantasy value, I do think that Melvin Gordon is a great value this year. He's going in the 12th round. You're not paying almost anything for him, and I think that he at least is going to start the year as the starting running back. Do not forget, they're paying him $8.9 million this year. That's the 4th most in the league in the running back position. They're going to use him. In my opinion, I would think they would run him into the ground and then Javonte Williams will take over towards the second half of the year. So I think that Melvin Gordon is a solid late round flyer for running back depth, and Javonte Williams is a solid add in the 9th round, knowing that towards the end of the year, he will be that guy. And Noah Fant's a talented tight end, like I said before, but I'm really not trusting him in my fantasy drafts this year. I'm either going early on tight end or pretty late. Those middle rounds, not really trying to pick them. All right, I think that's going to do it for this division. If you have any questions, don't forget to ask. Also, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell down below. I'll see you on the next division breakdown.
See you soon, Bay Nation.
Peace.